In our today's lecture, we will talk about the nervous system, and we are starting our new chapter. The objectives of our today's lecture are that we talk about the functions of nervous system. We will also talk about the neurons, the structure of neuron, and we will discuss each part of the neuron. So the nervous system, as you know, and this is a very complex and complicated part of a human body, which controls and integrates the different functions of your body and also maintain the consistency of the internal environment. There are two fundamental functions of the nervous system. It detects, analyze and integrate and transmit all the informations generated by the sensory stimuli, and it also organizes and coordinates directly or indirectly most of the functions of the body, especially the motor, visceral, endocrine and the mental functions. To carry out these functions, these fundamental functions of the nervous system, we basically the human body, the brain require the neurons, which are irregular excitable cells, and the neurons are the structural and functional units of the nervous system. The nervous tissue is basically composed of two cells, the neurons and the glial cells, which are the sportive cells. We will talk about the parts of a neuron individually. So the first part that we are going to talk about is the cell body. This is, as you can see, is the most irregular part of the neuron, and it is basically it has a variable diameter which contains nucleus, the cytoplasm, and it is also surrounded by a cell membrane. So we can say that the cell body has nucleus. The other important organelle is outside is the cytoplasm, and the cytoplasm contains the nasal granules that you can see in this image, that it contains some granules which are here are represented with black color. These granules are called the nasal granules, which contain rough endoplasmic reticulum and ribosomes, and the function of these nasal granules is to manufacture the protein. So if there is a condition which is called ischemia, where there can be inadequate blood supply to the neuron. So also there are other conditions, for example, if there is an injury to the axon, in the case of fatigue or poisoning, the chromatolysis of the nasal bodies can take place. Now, what does chromatolysis means? The chromatolysis is basically a reactive response in the conditions that I have already mentioned. So in those conditions, the chromatolysis can take place. What will happen basically, the nasal bodies will disperse, and they will start synthesizing more proteins, because there is more load, there is more requirement of the protein. So that's what the chromatolysis is. So the cell body, as you can see here, there are other protein or structural proteins present as well. These structural proteins within the nerve cells are the neurofilaments, which are assembled in the form of neurofibrils, and the neurotubules as well. So these structural proteins are basically responsible for the transport of the cellular stuff, which are bringing the cellular stuff to and from the cell body. Next we will talk about the dendrites, which you can see are the extensions of the cell body, extensions coming out from the cell body. These are highly specialized cells which are responsible for receiving information from other neurons. There are basically the junctions, or we can say the synapses between the different neurons, which we will see that there are different types of synapses present between the neurons. Through these synapses, the nerve impulse will propagate from one neuron to another. The next part that we are going to talk about is the axon. Each neuron has an axon which basically projects to the target cell, and it has projections or branches at the end. You can see these branches. These are basically the terminal branches. You can see that these are branching several times so that it can reach to many other cells. Axon is very important because this is where the nerve impulses propagate down from the cell body to the end of the axon, and then this nerve impulse can be transmitted to the neuron in the sequence across the synapse. This is the direction of the propagation of a nerve impulse. You can see the direction. This is represented with a green line here. The nerve impulse which is coming from the or through the dendrites, and it will then travel through the cell body down to the axon, and ultimately it will go into the axon terminal, and then this impulse can be transmitted to the next neuron through the synapses, which I have already told. So this propagation of the nerve impulse is called or is known as the polarity of an axon. The next structure that we are going to discuss is the myelin sheath. As you can see that there is a covering, or we can say that this is an insulation around the axon. So this insulation basically prevents the electrical impulse from escaping, and it makes sure that it generates from the neuron efficiently or effectively, so that the nerves can flow more effectively. You can also observe the gaps which are present within the myelin sheath, and these are called the nodes of Ranvier. They basically allow some sort of jumping conduction of the nerve impulse, which is known as the saltatory conduction. You can see in the next image that the impulse can have some sort of hopping movement, or these nodes of Ranvier will make the nerve impulse to hop between these gaps, and this conduction is called the saltatory conduction. Now we will talk about the end of the axon branch. The end of axon branch is called the terminal buton or synaptic buton, or the terminal buton is also referred as the presynaptic junction. I have previously told you that a synapse is basically where there will be a junction between the neuron and the next neuron, where the information will be transmitted from one cell to the another. So these terminal buton are also called the presynaptic junction, which will be immediately before a synapse. Axon branches of one cell can interact with the dendrites of another. We will see in the next image. Here in this image you can see a synapse between the dendrites of a cell body of another neuron and the terminal branches of an axon of another neuron. So this is a synapse, and through this synapse or the junction, the information through the nerve impulse can transmit. Okay, so here you can see that this is another synapse which is between the axon branches of one cell, which is interacting with the dendrites of another, and this type of interaction is called exodendritic junction. So this is an exodendritic junction. Here you can see a junction formed between the dendrites of one neuron and the axon terminal branches of another neuron. There are other type of junctions as well, and if there is a junction between the axon branches and the cell body, such junction will be called axosomatic, and there is an exoaxonic junction as well. So there are basically three types of junctions: the exosomatic, the exodendritic, and the exoaxonic. The exodendritic will be between the axon terminal branches and the dendrites of other neuron. The exosomatic will be a junction with the axon branches and the cell body, and the exoaxonic will be between the axon branches. Okay, now we will talk about the classification of nervous system. We will briefly discuss it. The anatomical classification, as you know that anatomically the nervous system is classified into the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system basically is the portion of the nervous system which contains the main centers for correlation and integration of neural formation, and this portion is basically protected by the layers, the protective layers, which are called meninges, the cerebrospinal fluid, the skull bones, and the vertebra. It includes the brain and the spinal cord, and you know that the brain is that part of the central nervous system which contains highly sophisticated centers like love and affection, memory, vision, hearing, and taste, etc., and the brain lies within the cranial cavity. On the other hand, the spinal cord is that portion of the central nervous system which is contained within the vertebral canal, and it contains the reflex centers. The peripheral nervous system is that portion of the nervous system which lies outside the cranial cavity and the vertebral canal, and it includes the peripheral nerves, and it also contains the cranial nerves, which we will discuss in detail in our coming lectures. So that's all for today, and if you have any question regarding this lecture, then you can ask. And there is an home assignment as well for you, and you will draw the structure of the axon, and you will write down the characteristics of each part of the neuron. Thank you so much.